What's going on, guys? Screenwriter's perspective here. So today I'm bringing to you a question that everyone's been dying to know. Everyone's been asking in the community. So of course, such a controversial topic. I think that the people here are definitely best qualified to answer this question. Who would win in a fight between Itachi and Jiraiya? Now, before we get to that, why am I, me specifically, qualified to answer this question? Well, as I just said, I'm a screenwriter, and screenwriters, I think, are very important for the screenwriting of the education, and so here I'm educating you on screenwriting topics, such as the narrative of Jiraiya versus Itachi. So I personally, my background here is I started screenwriting since 2015, actually, and so going back to that, I was actually in high school at the time, and so moving forward with that, I did a lot of writing, a lot of paper, you know, hand and pencil, and then a lot of typing. I've started my own series since then, so shout out my other channel, by the way, False Perfections. It's on the channel The Perfect Being. But ever since then, I actually went to college for my screenwriting, so I got my screenwriting education in college, which is why I'm certified in screenwriting, which is the exact reason for why I'm qualified in answering this question. That's on everyone's mind, obviously, of the question, that being the question is Itachi versus Jiraiya.
But of course, before we begin, I just want to say that this video is sponsored by me. That's right, by none other by me. I'm the one sponsoring this video. So thank you all so much for watching, and thank you all so much for your support, allowing me to be the sponsor of my own videos. And this is the spot of which the sponsor spot would be if I had another sponsor, but I don't have to do that because of all of your support. So thank you all so much for supporting this video with your support of the sponsor of me. And thanks for me for sponsoring this video, and thanks.
And so joined with me, before we get into that, I have two people here with me. The first person I have is Kamui. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys obviously know me by this point here. Like Udi, I'm very much into screenwriting, not because I am a screenwriter, but because I just like it. And so I would say I'm definitely qualified because, first of all, if you've read a book, you understand Jiraiya because he writes books. So you already have a good connection with Jiraiya here. And also, I just like Naruto, and I remember a lot. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I did forget to add that. I also watched all of Naruto, and I also read a lot of chapters, and there are 700 chapters of Naruto, which date back to, what year did it come out? Like 1999, 1997? The anime is actually different from the
1999,
manga.
I think.
Yeah, so the history of Naruto is very important, but I've been following since pretty much as early as I can, and been watching all along since through, and that's including the dub on Cartoon Network. I started there, and then I started watching on Toonami, obviously, is where it went to from Cartoon Network, and then of course it went from there to the thing after that. It went to the YouTube as well. I actually started in 6th grade. I remember watching Naruto Shippuden, the beginning of that, on YouTube, and then of course I continued from there on, like, you know, some other Naruto sites where I would just watch the sub, which I didn't even know existed at the time, but actually since then I've learned Japanese, so I've gone back, I've watched through the sub, and now that the dub has concluded, because that came obviously after the dub, I've now gone through and watched the dub, which is another reason why I'm certified to answer this question, that being Jiraiya versus Itachi, the question on everyone's mind. So the second person I want to introduce to this channel for this collab being the video of Jiraiya versus Itachi, is Dygo. Go ahead, introduce yourself, please.
Hello everybody, I am Dygo. Some of you may know me for YouTube videos here on the YouTube platform. I also do some other stuff on platforms such as community posts where I ask, usually, you know, the most interesting topics I can think about in the Naruto series. And I would like to thank Udi so much for having me here in Screenwriter's Perspective for the first time ever. This is actually going to be very interesting because, as Kamui said, I am not, you know, a professional screenwriter, but I am an enthusiast, and I adore writing just for fun and also to see stories that I can come up with. I also like to rewrite Naruto myself sometimes, but this is just a very interesting question that I think that I myself am very capable of answering because I do YouTube for a living and my channel is about the Naruto series, so I think I am extremely qualified for this. I've watched Naruto ever since I was 80 years old, and what was it, like, probably 2004, and I mean, I've read the manga over and over again, except for the Kaguya part. I mean, I've read that once, and that's it. But other than that, I assure you that every single chapter Itachi and Jiraiya are in, I've read those chapters at least 10 times each. So I think we are very much capable of answering this question. And I think this is going to be a very interesting video where two of the behemoths of the Naruto series are going to clash against each other. And it's just going to be that fun fight that we're all expecting.
And bouncing off of what you said, I remember when I first started Naruto on demand. Okay, I don't know if you guys started that. Actually, I started with Naruto Clash of Ninja 2, okay? I don't know when that came out, but it was a long time ago. So, I mean, engrossed in Naruto via the games, then on demand, and then Naruto Spot.tv, also known as Crunchyroll. I'm sure everybody's heard of it. I mean, I've watched Naruto like 50 times at this point. Except for the ending. I've only watched that once too, like Dygo. So with both seeing and hearing, it's just like, we're very qualified to talk about this, especially from a screenwriter's perspective, because there's no screenwriter's perspective if you can't hear what you're reading.
Right, and so bouncing off of Kamui, it actually makes a lot of sense because just like Kamui, I also had a Naruto Ninja video game. So my game was actually on the Wii, not on Kamui's console, and obviously I didn't know Kamui in real life, so we didn't play like together, we played like individually, but we still played as kids, and actually in my game, it was actually a part 1 game, so you could actually throw together Itachi versus Jiraiya. So this isn't just a thing that we're making up. No, I myself have personally witnessed this clash, which makes me more than qualified to answer on this.
You know, that reminds me, actually, I remember in Naruto Clash of Ninja 2 on the GameCube, when I was testing to figure out who the strongest characters in the game were, I actually set up I did this multiple trials, setting up a tournament of all the characters doing a 1v1 at level 9, like the highest setting of difficulty of computer, the CPU. And ironically, Neji was very consistently one of the strongest characters in the game. What do you think about that, Dygo?
Bouncing off of your ideas that you brought up, and the games in of themselves are very good sources of information for these versus battles, because sometimes you just don't get fights that you could have gotten in the series, and then you have to do them in the games. And what I want to focus here in terms of the games and the Naruto-verse is Naruto Arena. It's one of those very obscure games back in the day that not a lot of people played, but it was a very strategic game, and I used to use Itachi a lot of the time there. I cast Tsukiyomi with him, and sometimes I would fall against a team that had Jiraiya on it, so I also have a lot of experience in this matchup already, which can give a lot of insights, and we can understand how their powers will interact with each other, and also just how this absolutely insane clash of popular characters who ranked extremely high in the Naruto Top 99 voting poll, where every single Naruto character was put up to a vote so that people could vote on their favorite Naruto characters ever in the entire story, and Hikaku Uchiha was number 78. But Itachi was number 2, and I don't think Jiraiya was much lower than that. So these are two very popular characters, and we all know that, let's be real, the more popular a character is, the more popular the character will become, because this is a basic premise of screenwriting, as you guys may well know. After all, we all here like screenwriting and writing in general.
Yeah, of course, and bouncing off of that, you know, this isn't just some fight, like, this isn't RNG throwing up them up in the video games. No, we're not doing that irrelevant stuff. Keep in mind, this is Jiraiya versus Itachi, the honest truth, okay, the no-nonsense version, the guide. And so, this isn't RNG, obviously, this isn't the narrative analysis, no, this is a fight. And so, of course, let's get into it. So, the power scaling of this fight...
But before you get into that, I think
the thing is, though, in the games, from a screenwriter's perspective, narratively, Kakuzu in my Xbox game was by far the hardest villain for me to beat. When you consider Kakuzu's strength versus Jiraiya's or versus Itachi's, that gives you some insight as to how strong they might be relative to each other. What do you think about that, Dygo?
I mean, I kind of see your point here, but I think we have to, actually talk about something that's very relevant, which is this channel right here and the amount of videos it's been doing over the years and how it's helping people in their writing and how to understand scripts. So please definitely subscribe to this channel right here and like the video, because this is very important for the YouTube algorithm. Did you know that the more likes a video gets in exchange for your viewing opportunity of the video, and the more comments also the video gets, the better it will perform with the algorithm itself. And if it performs better because of the number of likes and the number of comments, then the video is going to be shown to more people as impressions on YouTube, and more people are going to click on it. And then if more people click on it, more people are going to like it. And then it starts this massive positive snowball where eventually the video is going to pop out in the recommendations of everybody that you can possibly think of. Not just Naruto fans necessarily, but just people that enjoy YouTube videos. So please definitely subscribe to this channel. And while you're doing that, go to my channel as well, Dygo. It's not very difficult to find. Do the exact same things. And if you want to, you can definitely like every single video there and subscribe as well. That's going to help a lot. And Kamui, he also makes absolutely amazing Naruto and Boruto content, so definitely go to Kamui's channel and subscribe to him. It's an amazing channel. He does videos, I mean, they're fantastic. I may not agree with some of his opinions on Boruto, but I mean, this is completely fine. After all, we're here on YouTube to debate and just discuss storytelling. After all, we're all YouTubers in a way, and this is an interesting thing that we do, you know? So please subscribe to all our channels.
And debate is exactly what we're going to do between Itachi versus Jiraiya. So bouncing off of what Dygo said, yes, absolutely, please like and subscribe. Especially liking the video would help tremendously, because my channel, like Dygo was saying, is actually very important for education. It's very helpful for screenwriters who are trying to get their leg in the industry, you know, especially with like YouTube and like the YouTube education system. And so with the entertaining aspect that we're throwing at you with this honest truth, the blunt, harsh, no nonsense guide of Itachi versus Jiraiya, I definitely think this video is worthy of your like. And also comment your favorite part of this video, especially if it's helping you in this knowing of the knowledge of this fight and who's going to win between Itachi versus Jiraiya, because here we are answering this question. So definitely be sure to like and subscribe. Liking the video, it's the thumbs up button. It's like the emoji. You click on it and it actually turns blue or rainbowy now that YouTube updated the new 2024 update. So definitely go like that video. Tell me in the comments if you think that new animation was cool. Same with the subscribe button. They also added a new 2024 subscribe animation where when you press subscribe, it actually turns rainbow on the subscribe button. So go ahead, press that button and tell me how it is, because I know only 30% of viewers are subscribed. So definitely let's get that percentage up so that more than 30% of viewers will be subscribed, because if we do that, then more than 30% of people will be subscribed, which will help my channel. And again, that's going to help out the entire Naruto community, because when one person thrives, we all thrive, because that's just bringing in more views for the Naruto community. So definitely be sure to do that. And like Dygo was saying, definitely go over to Dygo Knight's channel and then like and subscribe all of Dygo Knight's videos, because that helps the Naruto community grow by growing the Naruto community.
And bouncing off of what Udi said, you should definitely be checking out our podcast channel too, because we do versus battles with these no-nonsense versus battles where we get right to the point all the time on our channel. So if you haven't already done, search the Walkie Talkie podcast. Hopefully it shows up. Be sure to like every single stream, every single one of our 2 videos a day, and be sure to leave a comment on this video as well as my latest video and Dygo's latest video, letting us know whether or not you subscribed. It should be a yes, but please let us know in the comment sections of not this video, but all of the other videos. And then when you're done with that, leave a separate comment on this video, letting us know how many videos you liked. So there should be at least a couple hundred there.
Yes, I definitely agree with Kamui here, and there's another very important thing that you should keep in mind for the channels here, and it's that about 93.2% of our audiences are male. So if you have, you know, your mom and she wants to watch a YouTube video, your sister, your wife, your girlfriend, I don't know, women should be introduced into the Naruto community, because frankly our audiences are very skewed to the male side, and we want to get more of their attention so that the Naruto community grows and we become a much healthier and more interesting community, to be honest. So definitely spread the word to the women in your life. And also, don't forget to like and subscribe this particular video right here. After all, it's the video we're going to be talking about Itachi versus Jiraiya, one of the most interesting versus battles in the history of shonen anime, to be honest. I can't really think about a more interesting fight than this one, and it's going to be an amazing debate.
Absolutely. And bouncing off of what Dygo said, I actually pulled up the statistics here for the male to female ratio. And because like 90-something% of our audience is male, but then there's actually the ratio across the world. The global ratio of male to female ratio is around 101 males per 100 female, statistically proving that there are more females out there than males that have yet to explore, uncover, analyze this channel and the education as well as entertainment value that it's providing, especially in in this interesting debate of which is obviously Itachi versus Jiraiya, the thing we've been talking about the past 17 or so minutes now. So definitely be sure, if you have a sister or a wife or even a third cousin out there and they happen to be female, be sure to get them on YouTube and specifically to this channel, once again, so that they can like and subscribe, so that we can boost our subscriber ratio up from 30% to up to over 30%.
And while you're at it, be sure to check out all of our individual channels as well. So you have Udi's Screenwriter's Perspective, the Walkie Talkie Podcast, of course, the Kamui channel, that's mine. And definitely be sure to check out Dygo's channel. He makes a lot of Naruto videos, some Boruto ones as well. And you should like them. Like, no matter what, there's no way you can't like his video anyway if you just watch the video. And if you're going to watch the video, be sure to like it. And also, watch time is important, guys. You should be watching these videos at 0.25 times speed when you go to bed to really drive up the watch time. That's the best thing you can do to help these videos grow. If you're not watching them constantly, the channels are going to stall. So we need your help. It takes you no time at all. All you got to do is sleep. The easiest thing in the world. Yet you can make a world of difference to these channels. Now, getting back to what Udi said earlier about the Ninja Storm games, in those games, Itachi and Jiraiya don't actually fight, which is why it's really interesting for us to talk about it in this debate that we've been having for the last, 15 minutes. And, actually, Dygo, I'm curious what you think, specifically in the Ninja Storm games, how you think this fight would play out.
Well, I think the Ninja Storm games are an interesting way to begin the discussion, but I would like to bring it back even further. When Masashi Kishimoto was writing Naruto for the first time and he conceptualized the idea of Itachi Uchiha and Jiraiya, these two extremely powerful and important characters, and the impact that they caused, both in the story and also in the genre itself, because these two characters, they made an impact so enormous that several other stories copied them just verbatim. And, well, we have several Jiraiyas, we have several Itachis in other stories, and this is just one of the facets of this fascinating duel that we've been debating on for the past, 17, 18 minutes now. And Kishimoto is just a master both at storytelling, at drawing, and when he combines those two things, also with his immense creativity back in the day, he could create one of the most fascinating characters, which when paired up will create this amazingly interesting fight with so many different layers of complexity.
And bouncing off of what Dygo was saying, so of course Itachi and Jiraiya are the original that led on to many inspirations for these characters. So of course going and discussing the originals can help us give credence, land evidence in the direction of where other stories may have taken their characters if they had hypothetically had a fight between their Itachi clone and their Jiraiya clone. So of course going back to the original source material, of course produced by Masashi Kishimoto, the Japanese Japan man, I think it's very important to do this so that we can analyze the fight between Itachi and Jiraiya to discuss the winner so that we can figure out who would win between the fight of Jiraiya versus Itachi if they fought hypothetically within the Naruto series between Itachi and Jiraiya, so that we can then understand who would win between the fight between the clone of Jiraiya and clone of Itachi that happens to be many of other characters in other anime who have been inspired by Jiraiya and Itachi, which are in the manga from Naruto made by Masashi Kishimoto. But bouncing off of what Kamui was saying, of course all those statistics are important, but obviously the retention time is also extremely important of a statistic, especially watching the first 30 seconds of the video. So I've obviously meticulously edited the first 30 seconds of the video to increase that retention rate, but obviously there's ways that you, the audience member, can increase it, especially if you loop the video. So hopefully if we can have a greater than 30% retention rate throughout this video. I mean, I think it makes sense considering such an interesting topic is being discussed the entire time. Itachi versus Jiraiya is being discussed on this debate that we're having here on this video that's been going on discussing Jiraiya versus Itachi. So I think it's very important that you like and subscribe as well so you can increase the retention rate for other people who will get the impressions in their video feed, which hopefully the thumbnail that I made for this video will be high enough to increase the click-through rate to a higher percentage rate, of which will give us a higher percentage of clicks through that are on the rate of this video.
I'm really glad you said that because Itachi versus Jiraiya is one of those versus battles that, it had some build up in the story. It legitimately could have happened. Some people would argue it should have happened, but the potential was there. We just didn't get it for obvious reasons. But that doesn't change the fact that we can still debate who would actually win this fight. And by the way, if you haven't already subscribed to all of our individual channels, be sure to do so because Viewer impressions is like one of the most important metrics you can look at for YouTube growth. So if you're not getting impressions on videos, your channel's not going to grow. That applies to us, unfortunately. So the more you like the video, it's really helpful if you can just create like 10 different accounts and subscribe to all of our channels and like all of our videos on all 10 accounts, because I mean, that's 10 devoted subscribers on every single video. Think about the difference you can make with that.
I think it's very important, this point that you just brought up, because the subscription rate of channels is getting actually much more difficult these days. You get less views even though you have more subscribers. So if you subscribe, and also definitely ring the notification bell, because then you're always notified when a new video comes out, you are going to be helping all of our channels. So definitely subscribe here to Screenwriter's Perspective, then subscribe to Kamui, subscribe to Walkie Talkie Podcast, and subscribe to myself as well, Dygo Knight, on YouTube. This actually ensures that we can continue to make these videos, such as Itachi versus Jiraiya, one of the most interesting versus battles in the Naruto verse, and also in the shonen genre in general, and it keeps us going because we get much more motivated when we get those likes, those views, and those subscribers, because after all, subscribers on YouTube are like the blood for a person. They keep you alive, they keep you constant, and it's one of the most amazing things that anybody that watches our videos can do for us. Also, we know that Itachi used a headband with, a cross mark on the Leaf Village symbol, meaning that he's a rogue ninja, and he cut his headband with a kunai, meaning that he's a rogue ninja that left his village. And this just makes the fight much more interesting because it's against Jiraiya, a person from the Leaf Village, which Itachi left, which is extremely interesting, if I may say so myself. And coming from a screenwriter's perspective, as the channel name may indicate, this is what makes this fight even more complex, with these layers of character development where you can see the tension building up between those two characters that are connected in such an interesting way. And it's a very exciting look in the shonen genre itself, especially when those two major characters are going off against each other.
Bouncing off of Dygo here, I'm actually really glad you said that, because that's a really interesting point. So going back to the fight between Itachi versus Jiraiya, be sure to hit that notification bell, because I think that also turns rainbow. And of course, you want to help your fellow YouTubers out, because we're doing this as a hobby out of our passion, because we're very passionate about this topic, Itachi versus Jiraiya. That's why we're here on video discussing it for such a long duration. And so, of course, we want to turn this into our full-time job. And so to help us out, be sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to comment, and then you'll get all the rainbow animations. And so not only to the Walkie Talkie channel, but obviously to Kamui Dimension. His channel name's Kamui, but his @ is Kamui Dimension. Same for Dygo. It's Dygo Knight, and his @ is Dygo Knight. And then the Walkie Talkie Podcast, the @ for that is the Walkie Talkie Podcast. So be sure to check out all our videos, all of our recommended videos, all of our playlists, and don't forget to subscribe all of our live streams as well as, since we're mentioning 10 different accounts, I actually have about 10 different accounts that we can go through. So not only the Walkie Talkie channel and my Screenwriters channel, I also have an Udi channel that you can subscribe to. Let's not forget to subscribe to my Sweet Dude channel, where I post balloons. My Udi channel, I post a lot of workout stuff. I also have channels called The Beginning Games that you can subscribe to. Let's not forget to subscribe to Canudi. We can never forget to subscribe to Canudi. As well as MC Trixie, that'd be the perfect person to subscribe to. Be sure to subscribe to them. As well as The Perfect Being. Once again, shouting that out. That's where I upload False Perfections, my anime. So my Screenwriter's Perspective on this fight. Obviously, you can see it over there at my Screenwriter's Perspective channel, but you can also see it at the Perfect Being channel, because that's where I apply my Screenwriter Perspective education knowledge perspective, to where I'm allowing myself to perspectivize into my videos, providing my screenwriting education through the making of anime, such as False Perfections, which is over on my Perfect Being channel, which you go and subscribe, as well as MC Trixie, Canudi, The Beginning Games, Sweet Dude, Udi, Walkie Talkie Podcast, Screenwriter's Perspective, as well as Ninja Bros. That's my American Ninja Warrior channel. And so as an athlete, it's very important to me, as well as the future podcast me and Kamui might make. We actually might make a channel called the Walkie Talkie Podcast, which is going to be separate from this Walkie Talkie Podcast channel, which is the other channel, because this is a Screenwriter's Perspective channel, because we might rebrand from the Walkie Talkie Podcast channel to the #1 hyperactive knucklehead podcast. So when we do that, it's no longer going to be the Walkie Talkie Podcast, meaning we'll have to make a new channel titled the Walkie Talkie Podcast to talk about the sports and education, which will not be on the Ninja Bros channel, but will be on the Walkie Talkie Podcast new channel, not the rebranded one, not the Hyperactive Knucklehead Ninja one, but the new one, not the Ninja Bros channel, which will also be uploading Ninja Bros channel content as well, which is also athletic content, which will be separated from the Walkie Talkie podcast channel content. But going back to Itachi versus Jiraiya, I was really curious what you guys thought about this. So really diving into this fight, what I really think is...
No, I really like that you said that, because on the Walkie Talkie podcast, the one that is currently the Walkie Talkie podcast, not yet named the #1 Hyperactive Knucklehead podcast, which is separate from the new Walkie Talkie podcast that'll talk about sports. And if I'm not mistaken, Itachi and Jiraiya might have actually been in that game, which makes it all the more relevant to the current debate about Itachi versus Jiraiya. So to some extent, we've almost gotten a glimpse as to what this versus battle could look like. Dygo, what do you think about that?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because usually people just overlook this fascinating aspect of the Naruto story, and this is really our job here, to elucidate what most people don't see when they read or watch Naruto for the first time or even for the second time, because obviously we know much more about Naruto than the average person. After all, we've seen and read the series several times, especially, you know, the best parts of the series, which are going to include most of the Jiraiya and Itachi parts, meaning that we are very much qualified to debate this extremely interesting battle between Itachi and Jiraiya. Now, one thing that's very important for all of us here, before we finish the discussion, because this has been an amazing debate about Itachi versus Jiraiya, is that all of you should share the video with your friends, because the more people that know that we are doing these videos and just educating people on Naruto and screenwriting, the more people are going to know it, the more money we're going to get from, you know, ad revenue, people that are going to be interested in our videos, and the more people are going to be informed. So do that. Go to your favorite social media. It can be Instagram, Twitter, former Twitter, I guess, now X. It could be Discord. I don't even know. I just want you to go and share this very video to your best friends, or even people that you don't like, but they may like us instead. Because after all, we can see that this is an entire fight simulation that every person can enjoy, even people that may disagree with each other, because these are two amazingly interesting and powerful characters.
You know, I'm really glad you said that, and bouncing off of what Daigo's saying here, I think it's really important to remember that you can also vote on the community polls on the channel. I'll have a community poll for Itachi versus Jiraiya so that you can give your opinion on how this discussion has been going so far and how it's going to conclude. But of course, with that being said, obviously share the video like Daigo said. It's down below, it's above the comments, but below the video. It's actually next to the like and subscribe, just so that you don't get confused of where it is. So you'll find it there, and then you'll see the word share next to it. That's spelled S-H-A-R-E. And for my Japanese readers, I'm sorry that we don't have captions for Japanese on this video, but don't worry, I have you here right now. It's gshow.org, the official Japanese education dictionary. So be sure to share this video, and then it'll go out to all of your Japanese friends, of course, as well as all of the other languages. But I don't want to get too bogged down in the details, too nitpicky on that. So we'll go ahead and move on from the languages to something else. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, I just want to say, but before we go any further on this video, there will be Naruto spoilers on this video. If you haven't seen Naruto yet, or Naruto Shippuden, as well as maybe Boruto, be sure, if you haven't seen Naruto, to click off this video. You don't want to go any further in this video if you haven't seen Naruto yet, because there will be Naruto spoilers on this video. So I just want to say that before we go too far into this video. So now that that's out of the way, and that we've informed the people that there's spoilers on this video, we can now inform them of the spoilers on this video. So within Naruto, obviously you have the characters Jiraiya and Itachi, and they didn't fight, but they could have, which is a spoiler. So I think it's very important to get that context out there. But Kamui, I was hoping that you could bounce off of me on this one.
Well, that's a really good point, because, which is all the more reason why Jiraiya versus Itachi is such an interesting versus battle to discuss, which is exactly why we've been debating on this for so long now, and we will continue to do so for the next, I don't know, an hour at this rate, because it's just such an engaging discussion.
So bouncing off of what Kamui was saying and sort of transitioning to the fight itself, I think this is really important because the aspect that both of them are dead, so they can't fight. So I was curious what you guys think what would happen in this fight.
I mean, it's definitely possible that one of the two would win. I mean, like, the question of the video is, can Jiraiya beat Itachi? And I definitely think there is a chance. At the end of the day, it's so engaging that it's just, We don't know for sure. It's just possible, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe.